All right, what's up, everyone? In my last video, identifying omens, somebody said to me that they commented, "Why are you whispering?" And I was like, "Oh, Enneagram 9 problems." So I'm gonna try to speak up a little bit more. In this one, trying to remember to continue to do that in my videos, and when I post the videos, try to bring up the volume. But anyway, today we are talking about why or what I think about Joseph Solomon. For those of you who don't know, huge, well, not huge, I'm sorry, but also not small, but a really big Christian influencer, at least of our time. And what are my thoughts on him as of just maybe I think on Sunday. So today's Tuesday as I'm recording this. On Sunday, he announced on Instagram and Twitter that he has left the faith. Let me read that to you verbatim. I'm not a Christian. Maybe I'll explain that further at some point on a podcast or something, but I'm really in no rush. I figured I'd at least just set context for any inquiring minds so y'all can choose for yourselves how to move around me henceforth. I won't be answering follow-up questions in my mentions. If you ain't really fooled with me personally before this, now's not the time to make your debut. Your text/DM will go unanswered. Also, God should be able to hear your prayers for me without me actually knowing. So you don't have to tell me that you are. I tried and tried. At a certain point, I think I began to fear the gossip and "I told you so's" more than leaving the faith itself. But y'all can do what you want to do. My knee-jerk reaction is to apologize, quote unquote, to anyone this offends, but I don't currently have a reason to. I don't feel fake. I've generally been honest, transparent, publicly and privately with those around me about where I was/am in my faith. For now, at least, I really only apologize as I have before for the possibly damaging teaching I espoused years ago when I was on some heavy reformed stuff. Lastly, I've literally never been happier since probably my teens. In hindsight, brutal honesty and patience with myself has given me more tangible freedom and joy than any altar call ever has. All right, so I want to preface this by saying this is not a video that is here to convince any of you to go questioning your faith if you are in the faith, or even to be brought into the faith if you are not in the faith of Christianity. This is literally just a video of me sharing my thoughts. That being said, if you are afraid of having your thoughts, of having your faith challenged, and I'm not saying that in like a "if you're a chicken, get out of here" kind of thing. I'm not saying that. I'm saying like literally like I really understand that there's some people who may not want to take. I always get it mixed up. Is it the red pill or the blue pill? But whichever pill it is from the Matrix that makes you know everything that's going on right now behind scenes, there's people who don't want to take that. And I do not blame them. A lot of times, yeah. Anyway, this is not a video to try to persuade anybody or convince anyone of whether or not Christianity and the faith of Christianity is valid or invalid. This is just a video of me expressing my personal thoughts, which were further sprung by Joseph Solomon's thoughts and him announcing that he left his faith and the way that he feels, and things even leading up to this, because I've been following him for a while now, and I've always respected him, and personally, I respect him even more now than I did before. It's not to say that, man, I'm just so happy that he left Christianity. I'm not saying that, but I'm also not unhappy. I'm not, because I get it. I totally get it. And for those of you who follow me, those of you who actually y'all watch my videos that are not just about typology, yeah, y'all know the kind of headspace that I've been in. I posted a conversational video on struggling with faith as a Christian with my INFJ friend Justiny just 2 months ago, and we planned to have that conversation like early on this year. So yeah, stuff has really been brewing, and now Joseph Solomon doing this, I'm just like, whoa, interesting. Okay, that's new. But at the same time, did I see it coming? Yeah, I did. Am I still a little bit surprised? Yeah, a little bit. But yeah, no, I saw the signs. And then it makes me also wonder, dang, is somebody watching, which by the way, also a disclaimer. Please forgive the Ariana Grande music playing in the background. Jamila's enjoying it. She knew that I'm recording right now, but she's doing whatever she's doing, and we'll just let her have that. As long as copyright doesn't get me, then we're straight. So in the video with Justiny, I talk about how I've been struggling with my own Christian faith on a lot of different things, and I've told a few people that that's probably, I don't ever lie in my videos, but do I do the stereotypical political inferior TI thing as an ENFJ and hold back some of my actual true thoughts so that it doesn't, get into the wrong minds? Absolutely. That's why we're making more candid concepts videos, because I'm trying to practice speaking more of my actual thoughts and no longer fearing abandonment and rejection and all of that. But just being able to speak my mind about things and being okay with, hey, if I lose followers, if I lose subscribers, the people who are still there with me, those are the people that actually rock with me. Even if we don't always agree on stuff, this is a good community to be able to speak about things. I'm always open to hear. But yeah. So like I said, this was a video that me and Justiny did talking about how we struggle with our Christian faith, and especially me. Like I was more, if anything, like I was trying to put myself on the spot, and just kind of have her talk to me about the things that I struggle with when it comes to Christianity. And you guys know me. I have a whole playlist of every video that I've ever spoken about on Christian topics. I have a blog site where I've went really in depth about Christian topics and stuff like that. So this is just a really big thing for me. And when Joseph Solomon dropped that thread, coincidentally, I was just in that moment, exploring things, about Christianity and the faith and stuff like that. When a very good friend of mine had, posted that, dang, my heart's actually hurting tonight. Something like that. I thought that, maybe the dude's girlfriend, hurt him in some way or something. I was just like, yo, so I hit him up immediately. I'm like, yo, you good? And he's like, yeah, it's just Joseph Solomon, another person who I really, really looked up to and everything. He just announced that he left the faith. I'm like, dag, I'm sorry, bro. Which I really was, it's that's another thing. It's tough. Kind of like what he was saying. His knee-jerk reaction is to apologize, mainly to the people who, stuff like that. The dude ended up texting me back, and he was like, I mean, it is what it is. I respect his decision, but truth of the matter is, I'm just gonna be praying for him. And funny enough, same dude, when he saw me in Justiny's videos, mainly the part 1, he said that he's been praying for me ever since. And there's a lot of irony to that, which I know that he's probably watching this. So what's up, how you doing? And I'm not calling him out or anything. This isn't anything disrespectful, because I know where his heart is on that. There's some people who say yo, I'm praying for you. It's kind of in a pity way. That's not what this dude means. And if anything, I appreciate it, and I want him to continue to pray for me, because it's not like, if anything, like, oh, I'm running away from God. That's not the case. If anything, I still pray all the time. I still read my Bible all the time. I still go to church. And I just went to church on Sunday. I'm still practicing my faith. It's just that it's definitely different now. There's a lot of things that when I look into the context of certain biblical scriptures and everything, it's like, oh, that's not exactly how I thought it was all the time. Interesting. Oh, wow, this is not how I thought it was. But why do most people believe this then? Oh, shoot, wait a minute. This is really like that. And there's so many different things that's here, but then on top of that, like looking outside of even just the faith and looking at the faith itself compared to like other faiths and stuff like that, it's like, let me just go ahead and say, like, I have always been a fan of apologetics. Ever since I could buy my own Bibles, this is the type of Bible that I always got. This right here, this is the Apologetics Study Bible for students. So throughout this Bible, it's like, it's just a whole bunch of different things, like, talking about like different historical contexts and artifacts that let you know that this is why we believe the Bible is real. This is why we believe that Jesus actually lived and died, resurrected, and all of that. This is why, boom, boom, boom. In 1973, they found this artifact that boom, boom, boom. This is actually what the Bible is really saying over here, because when you cross-reference it with this scripture, then you see, like, at first it looks like it's contradicting, but in actuality it's saying this, and because you have to look at this, and the Greek is actually saying this, and boom, 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 boom. I like stuff like that a lot. And for those of you who, again, like, have been rocking with me for a while, Ravi Zacharias, used to watch him all the time, because I really held on to him, because I was like, man, like, this is somebody who's using rational reasoning, and he's not afraid to talk to other people outside of the faith around the world about the faith. Until, like I said in the video with Jessany, we found out pretty much that he was kind of a fraud. And even then, I don't really want to say that like too much, but like, because there's always that possibility, like maybe every Christian struggles. Every Christian struggles with something, But I feel like there's a difference between like, I'm struggling with fornicating or stealing, whatever it might be, versus, or even pornography, versus I'm struggling with sex trafficking. And anyway, we're not going to get into that right now. So all this to say, I really respect actually that Joseph Solomon like decided to break free from his pedestal, because I feel like public audience might have been choking him from being able to speak his true truth. But now he's probably more free than ever. Who knows? I once told a friend of mine who was a Christian that I once told her that it's best that she doesn't even look at me as a Christian anymore, because it wasn't because I actually did not identify as a Christian anymore or anything like that, but because I knew that me and that person, it seemed like we had such different perspectives on theological things and stuff like that, that I was like, you know what, I think that you should just rock your way, I'll just rock my way. Don't see me as a Christian anymore, see me as a non-believer, That way, I can still do and think the way that I think, and I won't have to feel like I'm being lectured by you about things that I've already thought through. And this wasn't, again, like disrespect toward her, but it's like, I'd hope that those of you who follow me on my channel, like, I think through every decision, every belief, ideology, whatever that I have, very thoroughly. My wife would tell you. I don't just hop on here to make YouTube videos and just go like that. There's so much reading that I do every day. There's so much content on YouTube that I consume every day, and not just Christian apologists and stuff like that. People who always have the objective that at the end of the day I have to kind of like prove to you still that Christianity is right. But I watch people who, are, gonna tell me like, at the end of the day, like, this is why I believe that Christianity is wrong. And I talk to people of all different types of perspectives, stuff like that. I think through a lot, and I struggle, I wrestle, and then I pray. And when I feel like people don't trust that of me, and they just kind of like bring up a lot of things that they feel like I probably hadn't considered yet, even through good intentions, and I'm like, and it just gets exhausting and tiring, you know what I mean? So Denzel, what are you trying to say throughout this video? I mean, I kind of already answered it. What do I think about Joseph Solomon leaving the faith and everything? Again, I'm happy for him. Have I left the faith? Have you left the faith, Denzel? No, I haven't left the faith. I personally still believe and have faith that Jesus Christ lived a perfect life, died for our sins, and resurrected on the third day, and that whoever believes in him is going to heaven. That's the faith that I have. What might be different now is that almost everything else that comes with that, how I interpret certain passages in the Bible, is very different than how I used to. How I approach spirituality, also very different than how I used to. And that's a podcast for another day. Especially since I'm still kind of figuring all of that out. But now, if anything, like, I refer to myself more as a Jesus follower rather than just Christian, because I'm just more about like, if Jesus taught it, then I'm about it. Like, that's and to the best of my knowledge, that's how I'm gonna try to understand him, through the New Testament Gospels, But everything else surrounding it, for my own reasons, I'm like, I'm going to hold that out here. And I feel like what I was going to actually try to say earlier, which, sorry, that kind of diverted from that. This is a pretty like free flow video over here. I was about to even make this a spontaneous speaking video, but I was like, I can't really do that, because this is definitely I have to put the candid concepts theme for videos like this, so that people who don't want to kind of like hear certain opinions of mine can be like, oh nah, and exit out. I know people who are like that, and it's like, yeah, no, that's good, because that's a big thing for me. Like, I never, let me say this, I don't respect atheists who make their whole entire life about trying to disprove Christianity and disprove God, and like every single thing that they say is just an attack on Christians and stuff like that. I hate that. But I feel like I also have come to a point where I low-key hate, in the same sense, Christians who kind of do the same thing. And I know that with Christians, I mean, I made the video, if you haven't seen it yet, what did I call it? Heart of an Evangelist. Where in that video I talk about, like, I answer the question, like, so, playing Christian's advocate over here, why do Christians go so hard in trying to share their faith and stuff like that? And again, like, if you want to check that out, the videos over there, Heart of an Evangelist, I go really in depth about that. But dang, she is really going in over there. Should I just tell her to stop? Well, I guess she's... Oops, she hasn't. Anyway, we're going to keep on trucking on. So yeah, you can go and check out that video. Heart of an Evangelist. But yeah, I don't really like the idea of being somebody who's going around imposing my faith on people either. So that being said, I kind of said it in my video with Jessany. Even if I were to leave the faith, I wouldn't want to be someone who is going to now, for example, talk to other Christians and tell them, like, this is why you should also leave the faith. Nah, I think that it's good if they're in it, especially if it's helping them and it's serving them. I feel like we need a faith, you know what I mean? I'm not here to try to discredit them and try to disprove things or anything like that. but also by nature, if I were to have done what Joseph Solomon did, then I know that from good intentions, Christians would come my way to try to save me and rescue me and reel me back in. And they will bring up all of the philosophical arguments and debates and yada, yada, yada. And by nature, I'll have one of two choices. Unless, if maybe, like, these are the choices I see, but y'all can bring me a third one. One, I either engage in their debates and then I risk dissuading them from their faith, which is the exact thing I don't want to do. Because it's like, dang, you forced me to do this. Because in you trying to save me and everything and dragging me into fighting with you about this, now I've made you start questioning. I didn't want you to question your faith. Because I wanted you to be strong in what you believe, because I see the value in that. That's why even a lot of it, like, I'm still holding on to my faith, But now look at what you done made me do. Or option number two, I just don't engage. But then that could be off-putting and it can seem arrogant and upsetting, and even like closed-minded, which is just so far from the case. It's so far from the case. So it's like, dang, what do you do then? Refer them to your YouTube videos, Denzel. Which is, for the third time, back to what I was saying. I'm just thinking about, like, how many people probably could be watching this video and being like, this is it. This is the beginning. This is how Denzel's gonna become an atheist or become an agnostic or what it might be. And the fact that in my heart that bothers me is saying something, because it's like, again, I want the freedom to be able to wrestle with, believe anything that I want without fearing that I'm going to be crucified for it. You know what I mean? I want to be able to come on here and share whatever thoughts that I have and just know that, y'all still support me, even if you disagree. Can y'all discuss with me? Absolutely. I'm open. But yeah, like, I don't want to be seen as like, oh, this is it. This is where it starts. You know what I mean? So like 5-10 years from now, could I become someone who, like, is where Joseph Solomon is at? It's a possibility, but I'm not aiming for that. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that I'm aiming for. And I think that's what I want to say. But at the same time, it's like, there's part of me that's like fighting against it. Why does it even matter? Even if it did come to that, Denzel, do what makes best sense to you. And regardless of what other people might think, which is funny because Joseph Solomon, I believe personally that he's an ISTP. Actually, for those of y'all who don't even know, like, I this isn't a brag, but, like, it's just fact. I hung out with P4CM, the group, the Poets in Autumn people, on there, Ezekiel Zonwu, my favorite spoken word artist, Jeanette X, Jackie Hill Perry, Preston Perry, Joseph Solomon, I met them, several years in a row, me and Jamila in our video, the A Mensah video, you see Ezekiel and Jeanette, they were actually both in the video, and it was a great time, they remember us, they recognize us, so it's like, okay, like I said, I met Joe. Joe's a cool dude, not that he would remember me or recognize me. I didn't speak to him too much, but yeah, I've been following him, and I believe that he's an ISTP, and I think that one of the things I love most about him is that TISE, he uses the same functions as I do if he really is an ISTP, and I can see it so clearly, even in his live streams, which I'm going to put a link to one of them that I found very interesting, him talking about, it was like when he first started to like question his faith, not when he first started to, but one of the first times I think that like he was putting that out there. And I'm going to link his podcast, which I've really been loving his podcast, to be totally honest. In fact, like, two of them that I've really been enjoying is like, so the most recent one is The Shores Somewhere Over Here. And then he has another one called Deconstructing Faith that he put out July 7th, 2020. And yeah, he has a whole bunch more like other great podcasts on there, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'm gonna link y'all to that. But I think that he's an ISTP, and when you watch his live streams, you can see like his TISE is just really there. Like, this man, he be like, people post stupid comments on his live streams and stuff, and he'll just straight up call them out. Like, just like, okay, Christian platitude, Mr. Christian platitude. Whereas, like, I would definitely once again take the more diplomatic approach. But I think that he's just a really funny dude. But I also think that he's a really nice and cool dude too. Like, he gets annoyed like everybody else, but mainly when he feels like people are being illogical and going and like attacking him and acting like they know him better than he knows himself and stuff like that. Which would piss off anyone, but especially a T.I. Dom. Like, come on. So for me, as an ENFJ, one of the biggest things that I've just been thinking about is just like how, like, if, again, I'm not saying this is where I'm at, I'm not saying this is even where I'm gonna be, but it's just like the, hypothetical scenario of if even I were to do what he did, it's like, dang, what kind of thoughts, like, what'll happen from there, like, not only what will your subscribers think, but like, what will your father-in-law say? Oh, you married my daughter and then you done converted her into an atheist or something. Like, stuff like that. Like, I don't. What will my parents say? What would they say? Stuff like that. Like, besides, I'm praying for you. Thankfully, Christianity is not the type of faith where, your parents will disown you and stuff like that. But even then, it's like, yeah, I feel bad for people who leave their own faith, like Jehovah's Witnesses or Muslims, and they get freaking kicked out of their family. It's tough. So for me, the reason why I bring that up is, once again, it's not to say that this is the road that I'm going down, but it's just like, the fact that I feel this way and I care so much about such a hypothetical scenario, what can I do to absolve that? I already made that video on the problem with pedestals, and I feel like hopefully I've successfully relieved myself from pedestals. I don't want to be on those. I do not want to be on those. I don't want to be someone who is looked up to in such a heavy way, and then if I mess up in some fashion, I destroy people's lives somehow and perception of me. Like, I'm still human, So, and it's not to say that I'm gonna willingly go and doing stuff like that, but like, shoot, I put Ravi Zacharias on a pedestal, and then look at what he freaking did. He don't even know I exist, It's just like, I don't want to be that to other people. Do I want to help people? Absolutely. I don't want to be a hypocrite in any way either, and I don't think I will, which is why I try to be honest with y'all. But in order for me to be, in order for me to make sure that I am not a hypocrite and all of that, then I have to be honest. And in order for me to be honest and authentic, that means I have to have people that I trust to be able to share and express these thoughts with, because these types of thoughts could help other people. I'm coaching people who are dealing with the same types of stuff, and it's great, honestly. It's great. Shout out to you, Dominic. I know you're watching this. Man. Shout out to you. Yeah, so this is just me musing. And I feel like I had it all more cohesively put together in my mind as I was driving earlier. But now that I'm in front of the camera, it's just all still spacey. Maybe when I get to the video editing, it'll be more cohesive. Or maybe I just said a whole bunch of nothing. So to make sure I didn't say a whole bunch of nothing, I will just conclude the video here by saying some main points that I guess I want people to take away from all of this. When people decide to leave the faith and they are well-studied people, I think it's good to still pray for them, because in case they are wrong, it would not hurt for God, if God is really real and all of that, it would not hurt for you to pray for them so that God can reach out to them and touch their minds in a way that will bring them back and be even stronger than ever, But also, if that doesn't happen, trust their process, The last thing that I just want to say right now is I wrote a poem called Leaving the 99. And again, I think this is the reason why I'm so discombobulated as I make this video, because this is very vulnerable stuff for me right now. And I'm just thinking of what is everyone going to be thinking as they watch these kinds of videos. But at the same time, it's and especially if it's wrong thoughts. I don't like when people think wrong thoughts. So it's okay, Denzel, how many things can you clarify? Which again, I just want to continue to clarify. I still believe in Jesus, but that's the thing. The fact that I have to even say that just to make sure, guys, don't don't think that brother lost his way, you know what I mean? That upsets me, because then it means I'm still caring about what you guys think, and I don't want to be there. I think that's the main point of this video. That's it right there. I don't want to care what you guys think in that regard, as in of course I do care if you guys think if I'm a good person, because I really do want to genuinely be a good person. If you feel I'm not, then I feel you're looking at me wrong. I want to be seen as someone who's smart and takes his time to be able to learn things and all of that, because I feel those are things that are the truth about me. But if you're seeing something that's not the truth about me, then it's dang, that kind of sucks, that hurts. And I don't want to care if you are not seeing the truth about me, even though I'm constantly putting it out there. So I think that's the biggest thing. So it's what if I didn't believe right now that Jesus Christ is Son of God, blah, 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 blah. Again, I do, which irony is I feel the need to keep on reiterating that. But that's because, at least for now, right at this moment, it's because I want to make sure that you guys are understanding me, and getting an accurate view of my mindset, and not just running away with something. So the more clear that I can be about things, and the less room that you have to create your own narrative. But I did write a poem called Leaving the 99 a couple of months ago, pretty much around the time when me and Justine made the video. It's based off of Matthew 18:12-14. As a matter of fact, since I got my Bible right here, and I've already used up a lot of time anyway in this video, why not just go ahead and read out the verse? Because if you made it this far in the video, then that means that you actually really rock with me, and that's why you deserve to hear this poem, because I actually plan to not share this poem online. But if you made it this far in the video, then that means that you actually are interested in understanding my thoughts and not just hopping on to some narrative. So Matthew 18:12-14. What do you think? If someone has 100 sheep and one of them goes astray, won't he leave the 99 on the hillside and go search for the stray? He is in Jesus, God. And if he finds it, truly, I tell you, he rejoices over that sheep more than over the 99 that did not go astray. Verse 14. In the same way, it is not the will of your Father in heaven that one of these little ones perish. So, as I was in my exploration phase, and I still am, but it's not as rigorous as it was before. And again, that might be a podcast/video for another day as I continue to evolve, which is fun, isn't it fun? Like, you guys get to watch me evolve in this way. Anyway, I wrote this poem. I just woke up one morning and I was like, yo, and I just banged it out. Leaving the 99. I've been following this flock of sheep for as long as I can remember. And although I've grown now to have a mind of my own that isn't just fearful of Hades' embers, nor the big bad wolf, it'll still take a lot more huffing and puffing to blow this house of faith down, because it was not built with straw like many of the other ewe lambs I've seen construct their worldviews and have done. Not even being aware of other elements that could be used due to lack of exposure. Oh no. I believe my home is a fortress of bricks, stone, and concrete. Lots and lots of concrete. But even then, sometimes I question them. Sometimes I wonder if my home is actually a dark cave made of Play-Doh that may tricks me into thinking I have all the right material, all the right windows for the proper views, the right foundation, and that my home is airtight of any interferences. And even if I were to escape, I would only ever enter another cave that may have its same effect with different styles. I came across other buildings on our journeys through pastures, and I see the concrete they've built their homes in. They do not follow our same shepherd, even if some think they do. But they do eat similar grass. They have familiar lifestyles. They graze in familiar ways. There's one thing I know for certain, as far as I can tell, and that is I have gotten to know my shepherd on a deep level. I actually know him so well that it is where the paradox begins. If I spin and turn the other direction, if I decide to walk out that door with no lock, planning to leave the flock, he will do the same. He won't shame me for my curiosity. He won't slay me for my doubts. He loves me. He will come after me, shielding me from unforeseen wolves, lions, and other predators that will prey on me as he and the rest of the flock may pray for me. My shepherd is gentle. Legend says that he once became a sheep so he may fully understand our pain, so he may have the deepest of empathy for us and help navigation through this forest of philosophical webs where arachnids quietly await us like Venus flytraps to sink their teeth into and suck us dry of our life, as we are given the illusion of wisdom and eyes to see more clearly when our vision has been actually stripped and our path no longer visible. Legend has it that this shepherd has already sacrificed himself for the sheep eons ago and returned from the grave to save the rest that were left behind, that well over 500 witnessed this miracle and then changed their mind about no longer believing in him and his power or leadership. Almost all of his original flock became martyrs, further instilling belief that perhaps this eerie and mystical story that was passed down for generations must have been true. But still, I can't help but want to solidify my stance, to make sure I'm not enchanted and in some religious trance that will leave me sheared of my wool. So, my faith is paradoxically leading me to believe he will come out and find this black sheep that has decided to wander away from the 99, to explore the world even after the risk of the dangers that lay out there, so that if he may even return back to his flock, his doubts will by then be locked. His curiosity of whether or not he is being fooled would be stopped. And who knows? Perhaps it is then that he will become even more of a testament to his beloved shepherd that he could share with his flock. And now I should begin my walk. done. Hey, I just wanted to briefly thank you for taking the time to watch this video, whether it was on regular speed or 2x speed, whatever it was. Just thank you for consuming the content. And around me, you should be able to see a few little buttons and logos for other recommended videos, because, I make good content, new ones, but then I also have some really good old content too that you should probably check out. But make sure that if you really like this video, feel free to subscribe, to share. It really helps this humble channel to expand and reach more people and ultimately help more people. So once again, thanks for watching, and hope you have a great rest of your day.